The Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Tourism posed tough questions to Minister Patricia de Lille on her decision to dissolve the board amid accusations of protecting corruption in South African tourism. De Lille explained issues around a forensic investigation of a controversial 4.1 million rand contract. She was also chatting to us this morning, giving more detail and insight into developments with the board. But let's get the perspective of the chair of that committee this morning, Ronalda Nalumango. Good morning to you and thanks for your time. We do appreciate it so much. So you have heard the minister defend her decision to dissolve the SAT board. Let's just start with what you heard yesterday and whether where you sit this morning you are satisfied with the answers that she has provided the committee.
Good morning, Iman, and good morning to the listeners. As the portfolio committee, I think we have more questions than answers. Yesterday, when portfolio committee members, posed their questions to the ministers, many of the questions were evaded. So we are left with more questions than answers.
What were the most important questions, Chair, that you feel were not answered? Which of the issues remain opaque this morning?
I think the issue of the dissolution of the board, as you could see yesterday, there was a back and forth between the board and the minister in terms of whether a particular meeting sat, where they didn't sit. Later on, then the minister said there was a round robin. Later on, when the board refuted that, it was then said, no, there was a resolution taken. And so it was just a back and forth between the minister and the board. That's one of the issues. The other issue is the issue of the CEO, where there were material findings and there were no action against that CEO.
Well, what does that tell you? Basically,
what it tells us is that currently we had now, it's not just even this board. This board inherited the issue of the CEO. It's the previous board of Ms. Kanyile. That is why the portfolio committee felt it important to invite the previous chairperson, Ms. Kanyile, because the issue of the CFO started then. Then the CFO, there were already findings then. Then the new board inherited the CFO, which is now currently the CEO. They inherited that matter. And so yesterday, Minister then said that the new board, which is the interim board that she appointed, the 6-member interim board she appointed, will now deal with the matter of the CEO. So it means the buck kept being passed on to a new board instead of just dealing decisively with the matter of the CEO, because there were legal opinions in regard to the matter of the CEO.
So the dissolved board, and that's part of what you heard yesterday, was in the process of laying charges. We're talking about Nombulelo Guliwe, and the allegation is, or the perception is, that the minister was dragging her heels, as you've just said, on that particular matter, not satisfied with the explanation on that point. She was talking to us earlier today and saying that what she had requested were documents backing up the fingers that were being pointed against the now suspended CEO, that she had done everything within her power to get to the bottom of the matter. Judging from what you're saying now, you don't believe that she did enough?
First of all, Iman, we were not, as the committee, provided with any information that we requested on the 21st of August from the minister. We have not been provided with any information. And so we had then to change our meeting into inquisitorial meeting, where members pose questions to the minister and then try and get answers, and we try to get to the bottom of everything. The committee requested, the Ngubane report, the report from Cliff Decker. We requested the report from the last attorneys, which was Hayes attorneys, and we have not received the information that we requested as the committee.
So this is
from the minister.
This is quite serious, Ronalda, because, as you say, it didn't allow you to perhaps conduct the inquiry yesterday and your oversight in the way that you had envisaged. As you say, it was then turned into an inquisitorial meeting. The problem is with the board, and as we've seen, and the minister explained it differently this morning around the initial board, I think in 2023, and the dissolution there, what's now transpired as not being signs of poor leadership or instability from her part. I would venture to guess that you have a different view then on how stable South African tourism is right now.
The previous board under Ms. Kanyile, I think some of those board members, they are busy litigating. And so yesterday in the meeting, the minister also alluded to the dissolved board, that is also going to litigate. And so as the committee we then said if the dissolved board who were present yesterday's meeting is going to litigate, then we need to get a legal opinion. And, from the beginning of our meeting till the end of our meeting, legal services were present in our meeting. And they have then advised us that, they've heard everything. They will draft a legal opinion for us, and then we will be able to move forward on the matter of the board as well as the matter of the CEO.
Do you believe that these incidents and others that you've heard from other, now axed board members, that there are elements of ministerial overreach, Ronalda? And if so, would you, as the parliamentary committee, consider possible inquiry, a further inquiry into potential political interference at South African tourism?
We will hear the legal opinion because we were specific in what we've requested also from the legal services, whether there was overreach by the minister, because the dissolved board continuously alluded to the fact in the meeting, and we've then asked that it needed to be looked at in terms of the act. What is the minister's rights in terms of the act, and where does it stops? And where does the board's rights begin and where does it stop? And we've asked the legal services to give us a thorough opinion on that. And after that, we've said that we can still continue to call the committee and further deliberate on the issue of the dissolved board.
Just talk to us overall. I mean, in South Africa, accountability, transparency, these are big things. Good governance is a really important thing, making sure that boards and the way that they interact with their political principles are compliant. Again, really, really important when you're thinking about large sums of money also at stake. When you were not provided with the information that you needed to conduct your work yesterday, how much did it influence or impede your ability to conduct credible oversight?
I think I've reiterated that, I think, more than 4 or 5 times in the meeting yesterday, that, information that needs to be provided by the executive, because it's the committee that plays oversight over the executive. And the executive, when information is requested, need to ensure that they give that information to the portfolio committee so that we can play our oversight role. And yesterday, I must say, our portfolio committee members, they were well researched in terms of even the questions they posed. And that is why I felt it important to also bring the board, to the portfolio committee to share with us what has really transpired. And I think through their engagements as well, there's a lot of information that came through, and then portfolio committee members could engage with the information as well that were coming through from the board members directly. And that would have been information that we would not have necessarily received. But when we had the board there physically, we then received that information and could interact with the information. But what is blatantly clear is that, the minister ignored substantial issues of governance and financial mismanagement when she was dissolving the board. And now she is then saying that the new board that she has established, the 6-member board, must now look into the matter of the CEO.
It sounds like, Ronalda, like the minister's appointment could be at risk. We're not talking, well, I guess all departments in government are important, but tourism contributes 3% to our GDP. You've got hundreds of thousands of jobs on the line. There are industry groups that are warning of reputational damage in terms of visiting and reputation and so on. How serious could this get for the minister, given, as you say, that she didn't tick all the boxes that she needed to, both in the provision of information nor in the answers given? You're left scratching your heads this morning. Is her appointment at risk from your perspective?
It's only the president that, that appoints. It's not us. All we want to do as the committee is to get to the bottom of everything and ensure that there's transparency and accountability, and that everything runs smoothly. And as you've stated, that the SA tourism industry contributes a massive amount to our GDP, and it's an important sector for our country, and it's an important sector, especially when it comes to, job creation. So, and that is one of the priorities of the president, job creation. And this industry has really created a massive amount of jobs. And so, when there's instability in the industry, it sort of put the job creation at risk. But we will receive the legal opinion, and then based on the legal opinion that the committee would have received, so then through the office of the speaker, then we will need to write a letter to the leader of government business to express our concerns about how the minister was dealing with the matter of the South African Tourism Board, but that would be based on the legal opinion that we would be receiving.
So, I guess then, as you say, that's the starting point from which a lot might flow. But is what's on the table potentially a formal inquiry or corrective measures, particularly against the minister herself?
The minister, I think the issue here is the issue of the CEO. And we want the minister to deal with the matter of the CEO. It cannot be that from her being a CFO to the CEO, that there are particular findings, against this individual, but there is no action against this individual. And we want really speedy action. And, of course, the person, Ms. Guliwe, she also has her own rights. So she has a right also to interact with whatever information is coming her way. But what we want is for the minister, to take accountability and put her foot down in terms of what have transpired, and the material findings that are there need to also be thoroughly explained, in terms of what have transpired with the 4.2 million WWP. We did not get much answers yesterday in terms of really what have transpired around those matters. And we would like to further, after our legal opinion, call again another meeting where we try to resolve all these matters. Because, as you know, the G20 is just around the corner. It's facing us. Yeah. And we really need to have a stable tourism sector in the country.
Well, let's see how this all pans out. Ronalda Nalumango, the minister is adamant in her position and has even challenged anyone with evidence of any kind of wrongdoing and malfeasance to approach the Hawks. You say you don't have all the answers that you need, and so, the situation could likely escalate in terms of its seriousness. So we will wait as a country, as tourism does in a way hang in the balance, to see how it all pans out. Thank you for your time this morning and for sharing with us your observations after yesterday. Parliamentary Tourism Portfolio Committee Chair Ronalda Nalumango talking to us there.